Intentional way, a happy, healthy life.
Hello there and welcome to the movement section of the Lose Weight for Good programme. As you will remember from previous sessions that we've done, we talked about TDEE. Do you know if you remember that? We talked about the total daily energy that's expended by your body just in living, your brain working, your heart beating, your kidneys functioning, your liver functioning, and all those good things that the body does. And we talked about how we needed to record our food, and we talked about how in recording our food and becoming very intentional in making those decisions, that was very much on the energy into the body side of the equation. Well, today we're going to talk about actually something that comes to your aid, which is about movement and how that works to enable you to either lose weight faster or to eat slightly more food. So we're going to talk our way through some of these various facets over the course of the next 10 minutes or so. So when I started my weight loss journey, everything was about walking. I felt I needed to move more, I felt I needed to walk more, and I have a job where when I'm up in London and I'm commuting up to London, I usually can do sort of 10, 11, 12, 15,000 steps without any problem in a day, just by the natural amount of movement that I have to do. However, on the days where I work at home and it's quite a quiet existence and I'm not leaving the house, it amazes me, I won't do 2,000 steps. And the amount of energy that my system uses by having to go to London as opposed to sitting in the house is huge. I mean, just vast. And so it dawned on me very early in this weight loss journey that I went on that actually I needed to be really conscious of those days when I was just at home, because on those days when I was just at home I was not going to burn anywhere near as much energy as possible. So I started thinking about, okay, how can I build in some time to walk? How can I try and replicate some of that movement that I would have when I was out of the house when I was in the house? And that meant I needed to start prioritising on a few things. So generally exercise, I think, gets a pretty bad press. However, movement and activity is really what I'm after. So we are going to talk about exercise, but most of what we're going to talk about is about how you can move and why you should move just more and more and more. And walking will bring many, many benefits for people. So the most important thing for me about walking and why I started on the journey of walking is that it actually starts by increasing my heart rate. And because my heart rate's going faster, obviously it's beating more, and therefore actually I'm burning more energy. And the speed that you burn energy is really helpful when you're on the weight loss journey, because remember, we know that 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. We know that. We discussed that earlier on. So if you can burn more, then obviously you're going to be able to lose the fat more, and it will burn more calories. And it will also encourage, by walking, it encourages growth in your muscles, in your legs, and actually in your abdomen as well. But it's all about making sure that you're getting stronger, you're getting fitter, and you're moving more and burning more energy. And so the more you walk, the more weight you'll lose. The faster you walk, the more weight you'll lose, because it's actually just about the amount of energy that you're burning at any given moment. And so I really want you to stay focused on what can you do in your life that increases the amount that you move. So I know lots of people that have done this in many, many clever ways, and I hope you're writing lots of notes, because there's lots of content here that you need to make sure that you write it down. So I know people, for instance, that when they travel, they choose to get off the bus a stop early, just so they have to walk a bit further. Or for those of you in the States, actually get off the bus a block early, so you might have to walk a little bit further. But something to potentially walk, or take the kids to the park, instead of just sitting there and eating chocolate bars, actually walk a bit while you're there. Or just go and find ways of walking rather than taking the car. Go and find ways of walking rather than insert anything that you can. Now, within our family, we actually do have one member of the family who really struggles to walk. And so she really works hard on her movement within the limitations of her medical condition. She works really hard to make sure that she doesn't just sit there and not move at all, but she moves as much as her system and her body is able to let her, because she understands the same laws. So pretty well, just remember that the amount of movement that you do can really, really help you, and you need to start thinking about what habitual behaviours can I develop, because yet again we talked about the power of habits. What can you do every day? What could you do every other day? But how do you create that habit to make sure that you walk more? And walking is absolutely fantastic. Now, you will remember at the very beginning of the program, at the very, very beginning, I said to you about making sure that you have a device that means you can measure your steps. At the beginning of this journey, it really doesn't matter how much you walk. So as long as you wear a step counter and you wear it for sort of 3 or 4 or 5 days, something like that, just to get a normalised baseline average for how much you work, that may be as low as 2,000 steps a day. It may be 2,500 steps a day or 3,000 steps a day, but it really doesn't matter. Just make sure that we know how much you walk. And then what I want you to do over the course of the next couple of days is I want you to think about how can I increase the amount that I walk by 500 steps. 500, that's all I'm after. I just want you to start the journey of walking more. And if you do that, you'll start burning more energy. Now, I'm not going to hide the fact that the medically recommended number of steps that we all take every day to keep ourselves moving, to keep ourselves fit, to keep ourselves energized is 10,000 steps. But I tell you, from when you start at the beginning, particularly if you've been very sedentary and you've not been moving much, 10,000 is a very big number. I'm after 500. And when you get to your norm, being 2,500 or 3,000, I want you to put another 500 in. So I want you to progressively keep building it in. How can I increase by 500? And it may be that you just walk for a 5-minute period. It may be that you walk for a 10-minute period. And you'll find ways of going to the shop maybe a little bit more often, walking a longer way around the shop. Well, just anything that you can do, just find ways of how you can do this. And make sure that you're measuring your steps and recording them. Now, most smartphones these days actually can pick up your steps from whatever device you're wearing. So most people could automate this, but even if you just write a book, manually write a book every single day and see how many steps you're doing and check that on average the amount of steps that you're doing goes up. Now, I have some other friends, for instance, who are teachers who naturally do 20,000 steps a day because they're chasing the kids around the classroom all day and they really don't need to do this. If you're moving more than 10,000 steps a day, just rejoice that you're at 10,000 and make sure you stay at 10,000 and don't let it drop away. But we now move to the thorny subject of gyms. Now, a lot of people, and I really do remember this when I was larger, were very, very nervous about going to a gym because there was this piece around, I'm going to be surrounded by people who are all fit and healthy and happy and all of that stuff, and they're going to look at me and I'm going to feel bad and all of this. And I really want to encourage you. I've never, ever, ever met somebody at a gym who consciously set out to make people feel bad. I have never met anybody who doesn't understand that we all started our journey together. And there are so many types of gyms now. So there are gyms that are very family friendly. There are gyms that are female only. There are gyms that focus on bodybuilding. I went to a gym where there were lots and lots of people that were focusing on bodybuilding, and it just wasn't for me. They took it all far too seriously. It's great for them, super, but for me that wasn't what I wanted. I just wanted to be healthy. I didn't want to be some super bodybuilding type. I just wanted that health and happiness back into my life. And so that wasn't going to be a gym for me, but the gym I go to is a really family friendly oriented place. There's always people to help me, and we have people from all ages. I was actually watching somebody even yesterday in the gym who was like nearly 80, and they were working out and they were pulling on the muscle. They looked great. They looked absolutely great because they'd understood that they invested in themselves every day. And going to the gym is just a habit like any other. And I want you to really think about it. So start off thinking about walking and thinking about how you can do more movement. But as you get more into your journey, the more you can move and the more you might think about optional ways of increasing the amount of movement, the faster and the easier it will get. And I want you to remember this. An Olympic rower or a heavyweight boxer getting ready for a fight. These people they're burning 6,000 plus calories every single day because they are working out, training, rowing, fighting, ideally not at the same time, but they're doing all this stuff and they're burning calories all the time. A normal human being would struggle to eat 6,000 calories in a day. It will be a full-time job. But these folks burn and move so much, that's the amount of energy that they are burning through. So if you sit there thinking, I'm a bit hungry and I need to eat more, move more. You have this lever where you can just link the amount that you move to the amount that you eat. But if you stick to the TDEE, stick to that number religiously, and then make sure that you record your exercises, the app, the MyFitnessPal app, will tell you how many extra calories you would be allowed to eat and still maintain your weight loss. It's so simple. It is so simple, but it just takes a while to get used to the concept that actually you can regulate the speed that you lose weight at, and you can regulate the amount of food that you eat by using this additional lever on how much you exercise. And I really do want to encourage you. You'll find great places to be at the gym, but this is the most important thing for me about gyms. Every piece of scientific and neuroscience research demonstrates that we are hugely affected by the people around us. And when you go to places like gyms, you won't find people that will judge you, but you will find people that are sympathetic to what you're trying to do, and they'll help you. You'll find people that have got the same habits that you want to have. You'll find people that will encourage you. You'll find people that will motivate you. And just in the same way as if you're a musician and you just sit at home playing on your own, as opposed to playing in an orchestra or a band or a group, there's a camaraderie in doing things together. So I really want you to not be too anti-gyms until you've tried walking, tried getting a bit more movement in, and then just tried it and see how it goes. Because I tell you, there's demons there where people are fearful, but they've got no reason to be fearful of everything that will happen. As well as having people that will encourage you, there's just that great social camaraderie. You'll get to know people. You'll get to meet lots of new people. And I see too many folks in the world these days who don't know enough people. They don't feel that they matter enough. And when you go to the gym and people start recognising you and asking how you are, it's a great kind of community. It's a great way of feeling that you matter and that you belong. Because you do matter and you do belong. And I love there was a TV programme that used to be on many years ago called Cheers, and the theme song was about this group. It was all about people who went to a bar together, and it was about you want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go to a place where you really matter, and this is another space where you can really matter. So think about that. Lots of upsides in gyms, lots of content there that I hope you made lots of notes on. But the other thing that I'm really passionate about is stretching and really making sure that we have flexibility. And I remember when I was very heavy, I had very limited ranges of movement. And now I do some very simple activities. There was a well-known entertainer in the UK called Bruce Forsyth, who every single day of his life, and he's recently passed away at aged, I think, 91, 92, something like that. But he, every single day of his life, right up to the end, he used to do a stretching exercise, which you can find on YouTube in many different videos, called the Tibetan 5, or the 5 Tibetans. And it starts off as a very simple exercise where he has to have 5 very gentle exercises. One of these exercises is putting your arms out and holding your own arms out. I mean, you can't get much more gentle than this. And it starts with this, and you do 3 a day of each of these exercises to start with. And then after a week, you move to 5, and then you move to 7, and then you move to 9, and you never go above 21. But these exercises have been around for thousands of years. And I really want you to watch these videos. I want you to watch the videos on YouTube about how to do the Tibetan 5. It takes 10 minutes. It takes 12 minutes. And for those of us that do 21 of these 5 exercises a day, probably takes just over 15 minutes. But the part to it is that it gives us flexibility and it gives us stretching. And I tell you, if you want to have a good, healthy old age, and you want to be strong, and you want to be able to do all the things with the family that you want to do, and you want to minimise the amount of health issues that you have and increase the speed that you have for recovering from things that happen and avoid things like falling over, do these movements. They're called rejuvenation movements, and they're called that for a reason. It helps you sleep better, it helps pain relief, it helps improve your memory. All of these stretching exercises are really, really important, and the time to start them is now and not just when you feel that you're getting older. Make it so that it's another really positive routine in your life that enables you to stretch and spend some time thinking every day, working out what's important and doing the right thing. And I know some of you are going to sit there and say, I haven't got time. I tell you, you have. It's just about prioritisation. It's just about sitting down and saying, do you know what, I'm going to have that routine. You have time to clean your teeth. You have time to tidy the house up. Find just that extra 10 minutes. Maybe even get up 10 minutes earlier. Go to bed 10 minutes earlier. If you want to do it, you'll find the time, and you'll notice a bigger difference by doing these exercises than you will ever dream possible. So just these 5 exercises, the 5 Tibetans, the rejuvenation exercises, and you'll find that you'll just start feeling better. So in summary, the whole session is about movement. It's about making sure that it keeps you healthy, that it makes you have more flexibility in terms of the speed that you lose weight, and it means that you can actually exercise more and maybe potentially undo some of the effects of, for instance, having a slightly heavier weight day or a slightly heavier food day the day before. But it does mean you burn more calories, which has got to be great. Just got to be really, really, really good. Make sure that you exercise and move more every single day. And understand that in doing this, it will really make those later years of your life much better, much healthier, much more able to deliver all the things that you want. And discipline yourself. We're going to cover this a little bit later on in the course, but one of my favourite phrases is about make sure every day, and you need to write this down, make sure every day that you do things that your body of tomorrow will thank you for. And it's such a profound thing. Make sure that every day you'll do things that your body of tomorrow will thank you for, because every one of us will get older. It's just the way it is. Every one of us will get older. And you need to start investing in your body and making sure that you have that happy and healthy life, which is right here for you to grasp if all you do is follow the advice in these videos. It will really change your life that dramatically. And we'll work on to some of the things around discipline and willpower in the course of the coming weeks. But I really want you to focus on increasing the amount of movement. So thanks ever so much for today. I hope you've taken lots of notes. I hope you found that powerful, and I hope you're finding it all beginning to start linking together and layering over. We've talked about how we record food, we've talked about energy, we've talked about movement, and it's all beginning to start forming a pattern. And if you've got information that you're struggling with, go back and re-watch some of the videos, keep layering the information on, and it'll be great. Really looking forward to speaking to you on the next subject. The next subject we're going to cover is actually one that's about the head, and it's all about fears. And I'm really looking forward to this because fears drive so many of our subconscious behaviours. So look forward to speaking to you soon, see you soon, and just go for having fears really covered and really sorted out in our lives. See you soon. Bye.
Intentional